is the right thing to do in every circumstance. It allows us to look at what we're doing and for us to self-improve. Yes, we work for companies, whether it's cross-country mortgage, guaranteed rate, Fairway, whatever company you work for that company. No question about it. That's the only way you can scale your business. How's your delegation? It's a question that I think you should be asking yourself. One of the ways you can elevate your presentation skills is knowing what to say. Remember, professionals follow a script. Amateurs wing it.
Matt Weaver, the #1 mortgage originator in the United States for most loans closed in 2023 and #1 in the state of Florida from 2020 to present, has spent over 27 years mastering the purchase market, earning more than 16 #1 titles across his career. Max Fish, 2024's #1 originator in the United States under 30 and #2 in the state of Florida, achieved those titles within just 5 years of entering the mortgage industry, compressing decades of growth into a few extraordinary years. Collectively, they've helped more than 40,000 families purchase their first home. Now partners and looking to improve the industry on a national scale, Matt and Max share their winning formula, team structure, and systems with originators who want to scale from elite to extraordinary levels.
I was recently asked to speak at a mortgage convention in front of a great group of originators. So I asked myself, what can I share with this great group? And it dawned on me. Questioning ourselves. I think questioning ourselves, both business and professionally, is the right thing to do in every circumstance. It allows us to look at what we're doing and for us to self-improve. As an example, anytime I rate myself, the most I ever give myself is an 8. That extra 2, if you think about it, is that extra margin, of course, of being better. I don't know if I'll ever rate myself a 10. 8 will be the max for now. Let's get back to the questions. What I shared with the group is 13 questions to higher productivity that the originators should be asking themselves, all in an effort to better themselves and their business. I'm not going to go over all 13 here today. I picked 3 to cover with you all, and I hope this resonates. One of the questions I asked the originators to ask themselves: what are my standards? What are my standards? Look, we are in the business of being in business. Yes, we work for companies, whether it's cross-country mortgage, guaranteed rate, Fairway, whatever company you work for that company. No question about it. But you're also building and developing your own business. And every great business has to have standards. So, as an example, my standards, I wanted to have the most thorough pre-approval process in the industry. I wanted my pre-approval process to operate 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. I wanted my pre-approval process to operate 364 days a year, only close Christmas Day. I believe that every home buyer, regardless of their circumstances, should go through my process and end with a home buyer consultation. These are standards that I set for myself and for my team. Those list of standards go on and on and on, ranging from the moment a customer calls up to get pre-approved all the way through to funding. So here's a question to ask yourself. What are your standards? What are the standards that you're going to, of course, live and die by with your business? And making sure that there's not a single customer out there that'll get you to lower your standards. I want you to think about that. The next question I asked the group is, how's my delegation? How's my delegation? This is an interesting one. In fact, in my belief system, most originators do very, very poor at delegation. If you think about it, most originators want to do everything on their own. I always said, and I've said to the group, that could you imagine an originator owning a pizzeria? They'd work the register, they'd knead the dough, they'd be the server, they would be every part of the operation of that pizzeria, just like they are in the loan process. At some point, we have to ask ourselves, maybe we get someone to work the register. Maybe we get a pizza maker in the back, and maybe we actually get a server. Would that allow us to sell more pizza? It's interesting. We're taught to have a sole practitioner mindset. Me, 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 me. I'm the value proposition. Well, if you keep selling yourself, you're going to sell yourself. Start thinking about, how can I delegate the parts of the process that I don't like to do? Regardless of your production today, if you're starting off in this industry, whiteboard your process. Take a look at the parts that you can delegate at some point in the near future when you get your production up. For those that have existing production, you got to figure out how to unravel from certain components. That's the only way you can scale your business. How's your delegation? It's a question that I think you should be asking yourself. Another question I asked the great group, which I think is so critically important: how are my presentation skills? How are my presentation skills? I said to the group that every presentation is a performance. Every presentation is a performance. Whether it's a one-on-one with a real estate agent at a coffee meeting, a lunch meeting, whether it's presenting in front of a large group, whether it's presenting on camera like I'm doing right now, every presentation is a performance and should be treated as such. Far too often, originators, in my opinion, are too casual about the topic. If they're asked to come and speak to a real estate team or a real estate office, they're driving to that office and they're going to say to themselves, gee, I'll just go ahead and wing it, or, whatever comes to mind. That's not appropriate. You're presenting, and presenters need to take that seriously. I've said to myself over the years that if I can continuously increase my presentation skills, I will create more separation from myself and my competition, which I can honestly say is a huge role in what it is that I do. Elevating our presentation skills makes the sale easier. One of the ways you can elevate your presentation skills is knowing what to say. Knowing what to say. Most originators wing it. Remember, professionals follow a script. Amateurs wing it. A script doesn't necessarily mean that you're a robot, okay? But a script is organized thoughts here so you can convey from here to the prospect that you're speaking to. It's a way to elevate your presentation skills. And for those that are perhaps nervous speaking in front of large groups, all the more reason to get organized with your thoughts. It builds confidence and it makes it a whole lot easier to present in front of large groups. I want you to think about that question. How are my presentation skills? I hope you found these 3 questions of value. Continue winning.